Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Capacity Crowd. Oh, in fine spirits after a good win against Stoke at the weekend. Oh, fantastic. Welcome to Life's a Pitch TV, episode 5 of Life's a Pitch TV. I'm Mark Murphy, and if you're watching on YouTube, hello, great to have your company. Make sure you subscribe and like the channel, please. It will help us keep it going and keep it going forward. Thanks to DPS Tech, our main sponsor, for helping us make the show happen. And a massive thank you to our other sponsors for making the show what it is. All about hearing, Green King, Forward Floors, Come Hither Design, the Hudson Group, Sound 4 Pro Audio, Venue 16, and we have a new sponsor, Ginger Pickle, who are a marketing company, and thank you to Tony Southgate, whose company is based in Norwich. Give our sponsors a big round of applause. Fantastic stuff. And if you'd like to get involved and sponsor the show or get involved in any way, you can email lifesapitchtv@gmail.com, lifesapitchtv@gmail.com. Let me introduce you to the team, and it's a full squad. Nobody on the missing list this week. First of all, let me introduce you to former Ipswich and England skipper. It's only Terry Butcher, everybody. And I'm thrilled to say he was replaced last week by Ted Lasso. But this week, we have managed to link up live to Australia. Please give a big welcome to Russell Osman.
Hi, everybody.
Well done, Russ.
Thanks for having me. I haven't been here for the previous few weeks.
Oh, we've missed you. We've missed you, but we've got you through the wonders of technology now, which is amazing. Also with us from behind BT's Bar from twtd.co.uk, it's Phil Ham, everybody.
Hello.
And Ted Lasso's here as well again tonight.
I know, sneaking over my shoulder.
Yeah, he was sitting in for Russell last week, but he's keeping you company here tonight. Big shout out also to John Parker, Richard Garrett and Mark Calver, who are on technicals over there. Thank you. Hey. And well done, Capacity Crowd, for making it here this evening. Well done. Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah. Well done. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does make a difference to us going forward. So far, the channel, and we've only been going, a few weeks, views at the moment, 42,387, which is phenomenal, Butch. 3,794 subscribers, but wouldn't it be nice to get to 5,000 tonight? So if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Don't worry, you won't get spam mails or anything like that. It just helps us with the channel. But a great bunch of people watching and listening.
Yeah, fantastic. I don't know why they like it, to be honest, but they obviously do. But we're doing something right, Mark, which is unusual.
Well, we come out at 9 o'clock at night, so everybody's had a beer by then, so it helps, yeah.
Do you say Ginger Pickle?
Ginger Pickle.
That's not Ed Sheeran's company at all, is it?
No, I don't think so, no.
It's not his new song that's coming out?
No, I don't think so.
No, but it comes from Norwich.
Yeah. And it's don't boo the man, he's sponsoring us.
No, you cannot boo the sponsors. Come on.
Oh, no, you can't. I think that might end up being on your shirt. It's either on your shirt or Russell's.
It's not green and yellow.
No, it will never be that. Okay. It will never be that. Tony's a good boy. He's a good lad. Every week we have a special Ipswich Town guest, and we'll introduce you to this week's guest in a moment or two. But a fantastic response, Phil, to last week's show with George Burley and your Keep It Up challenge efforts last week. Didn't he do well, everybody?
No, it's not getting any better.
I'm trying to whip it up for you.
No, I think it's
trying to get it going. Great response to last week's show. Lots of lovely comments. Another fabulous episode with another Ipswich legend. Keep up the great work, everyone involved. Great idea. This show is loving it. Norman says last week's episode with George Burley was brilliant. I followed him as a player and a manager. So many memories. I met him and Sir Bobby Robson when they came to visit us in George's testimonial year near to Northampton. Such wonderful people. Now I can keep in touch all the way from Thailand, which is fantastic. And we've got someone here who watches in Spain. Hey! All over the world. A true town legend and Life's a Pitch to bring us Mr. Burley. You spoil us. And also another one here. Brilliant show again. You guys are doing an amazingly good job. Love it. And thank you. So we've also got a website coming as well. Did you know this?
I don't know anything, Mark, no.
Did we not run this one past you?
No.
Did you know this, Phil?
It.
Vaguely, yeah.
Oh, vaguely, yeah. So we're going to have a website coming very soon, which is going to have an opportunity, because lots of people want our shirts, particularly yours, which is very popular. So we're going
like mine.
We're going to do some mugs and some shirts and things like that very soon.
It's very good.
So
it's very nice.
It's a very nice shirt.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah, mugs and shirts. You'd all buy those, wouldn't you, souvenirs? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we've taken your name and your numbers. Now, The good thing about this is that you never know who's watching or listening. And the other day, we were talking about the insurance company that used to run back in the day. What was the slogan, Phil?
Yeah. Number 6 for England, number 1 for insurance.
There we go. And
Did you think of that, Terry? Did you think of that? Well,
I've had a message from someone who calls you Uncle Terry.
Yeah, I know who it is, yeah.
Nina's been in touch, and she says, good old Uncle Terry. And she sent me some PR pictures of you and your insurance company back in the day. And she says her and the whole family covered half of Lowestoft with these pictures, putting them through people's doors. And she still hasn't been paid.
there's a lot of interest on that then, I reckon.
So
Yeah, but I mean, she just volunteered, so you don't
she?
get paid, no.
It's not what she's saying to me, Butch.
Well, she should have read her contract, really, didn't she? Read the small print.
Naughty
Nina.
Uncle Terry, hey? Oh,
Well,
child
when
labour.
you got a business, you've got to become a businessman, haven't you? You've got to be ruthless. You've got to be
Very
ruthless.
hard no.
And
Very
anyway,
hard.
enough of this. Let's bring in our special guest this week. We are absolutely thrilled. He's made so many appearances for Ipswich Town. It's only Mickey Stockwell, everybody!
Mickey Stockwell. Only one Mickey Stockwell. One Mickey Stockwell. There's only one Mickey Stockwell.
A long time since I heard that.
Mickey Stockwell. There's only one Mickey Stockwell. Mickey Stockwell.
Well
I've
done,
gone
well
red now.
done, well done. Great song, and lovely to hear that again, isn't it?
Yeah, great, nice. Yeah, I don't know if it's deserved, but it's
Of course
nice.
it is.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. I mean, we
I
did
think-
rehearse it before you came in, but, you know.
No, but better in rehearsal. I got-
557 starts, 53 sub-appearances, 44 goals. I think it's definitely worth it, don't you?
What is it like when you're hearing a positive song like that when you're playing on the pitch?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you hear it when you're doing well, and you hear other stuff when you're not doing quite so well. But yeah, at one point I had Jesus as a nickname. That was quite hard to get up and go higher than that. So everything was down from there. So yeah, no, it's great. You know, I've always had fantastic support from Ipswich Town supporters, and yeah, it was really my team for a long time, and enjoyed every moment of it,
Well,
really.
I'll tell you what, a lot of them have been in touch with us, and we'll do some of those mentions a little bit later on in the show. But we've got to start by talking about Town's victory at the weekend. Big crowd, Phil Ham, wasn't it?
29,006, wasn't it? Yeah, I think second highest
Second highest
in
to
the
Southampton, I
championship to
think.
Southampton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I mean, particularly normally the first game of the season, you guys will know this as well, a lot of people are on holiday, aren't they? So the attendance for the first game is normally not that great, but to pack out the crowd was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be much different from most of the games. Certainly, certainly early on. Obviously, there's a massive season ticket take up this year. You've got your away supporters, and then there's going to be a scramble for the spare tickets. So it's quite tough getting a ticket at the moment.
Just like the old days.
Well, I can remember playing Premier League with a few spaces in the crowd. But when you're doing, I mean, the club's doing so well, isn't it? There's so much enthusiasm for everything, the team, the way that the new owners are projecting the club and pushing it forward. But I just think that at the moment the club's on such a high. It's
fantastic, isn't it?
It's brilliant.
Great.
It's lovely because you know, we've had a few tough years, haven't we?
Just
coming
a few.
up, being polite, yeah. And it's nice to just see it all. You know, I'm lucky enough that when I'm at work, I'm in people and they can't stop talking about Ipswich Town and what's going on and asking questions. And that's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
We've got a few questions about your current role, working in people's homes a little bit later on. Don't worry about them. They're fine.
Not complaints. are they?
Everybody's very satisfied with your workmanship, Mick.
Thank you.
Terry, what did you make of the atmosphere, first of all, on Saturday?
No, that was terrific. It was really good. I never felt worried in the game whatsoever. I think, or did all the Town fans think that? Never felt worried at all. Even when it's just 1-0, you sort of thought, well, they're dominating, and it's just only 1-0. Got to get that second goal. I just thought the way they approached it, they're playing a different way, slightly different way in the first game, and obviously on Saturday as well, because they've been well warned, they've been well drilled. You know, you got to admire Kieran McKenna because he's prepared the players very well to play a different way. But now they have a lot of strings to their bow because they can do different things at different times. When they need to drop off, they drop off, but when they regroup, they can break very, very well. So it's just exciting to watch. It really is. And I was in London the other day, and people are saying, actually talking about Ipswich, they're doing really well. And top of the league now. You know, it's the glory days are back.
I think that deserves a song, that mention of top of the league, doesn't it?
We are top of the league, say we are top of the league. We are top of the league, say we are top of the league.
That was all.
We are top of the league, say we are top of the league.
Couldn't start them now, can't shut them out.
That was almost spontaneous. Well done.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Almost.
Eventually.
Russell, you're obviously in Australia. Is word reaching you about Tan's performances?
I've seen the performances and been very impressive, Mark. Nearly as impressive as I was when I was watching Mickey Stockwell play in the Premier League, as he just slipped in there. Was that the year you got Player of the Year as well, Mick?
I did,
92,
yeah.
93?
I got Player of the Year in the Premier League, yeah.
Premier League.
Yeah, I did.
All right, congratulations. Well
Long
done,
time
pal.
ago, Russ. Long time.
Another round
It's
of
a
applause, mate.
distant,
Come on.
distant memory.
Yeah. Listen, Premier League player, pal. Simple as that. But I think Town have been doing fantastically well. I agree with what Terry said. They look very comfortable in the last game against Stoke. I thought they might miss Christian Walton a little bit more in goal, but they haven't. They've looked very comfortable at the back. They've carried on playing out from the back. They've played some very good football. And it's all there in front of them for the rest of the season. They look a very professional outfit at the moment.
We've all given our predictions, and I went for top two in my prediction. I think we're going to do promotion again this season. Where do you think, Russell? We haven't had your prediction for the season yet.
I would think playoffs, providing they don't get any bad injuries or anything like that. If they get a fair slice of luck, which everybody needs to be successful in any league campaign, then I could comfortably see them being in the playoffs at least, yeah.
Good to see. I'm still going for top two. Phil, your assessment on Saturday? It was a great crowd, great game, wasn't it? Everybody went home buzzing.
Yes, and I think that just the way we came up against a side like Stoke, who are an established Championship side, brought in a lot of players over the summer as well to strengthen. Kieran McKenna in his pre-match press conference said he expects them to be contenders. Well, I expect them to be probably there or thereabouts for the playoffs rather than top two. But really, as Terry said, there was never a real question that we were going to win, really. Once we scored the first goal, it was a case of when we get the second goal. And, of course, we got a very well-worked second goal, didn't we? First goal, of course, one that Terry would have been proud of, I'm sure, the Luke Wolfenden's towering header, the sort of goal that you used to score every now and then, and Russell used to score every now and then.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a towering
Thanks,
header
Phil.
from Luke Wolfenden, but it was on target and he scored. I don't know what their goalkeeper was doing. He had a nightmare. So
We half came and then he didn't really
half
make a
came,
decision,
and,
did he?
You know, it doesn't matter if how you score it as long as it goes in. Russell scored plenty of goals like that. So he scored far more than me anyway.
But it was a traditional centre halves goal, wasn't it? And then the second one, I think, was such a nicely worked move from the goalkeeper down the left through the middle, and then a lovely ball from Wes Burns for Caden Jackson.
I
to
was so
tap
pleased for
home.
Caden Jackson to get that, actually. I really think he gets a lot of stick, actually. And McKenna obviously sees something in him. And for him to get that goal, I think we'll see a little more of him this season.
Well, he couldn't miss, could he? Let's be honest
Well,
about
even
it.
so, you still got to get it in,
You
Butch.
could have scored that, Mark.
I couldn't have scored that.
but he-
I had one chance of scoring at Portman Road once in a charity match. Laurie Civil was in goal, big Laurie Civil. I had a penalty to take. I ran as fast as I could. I hit the ball as hard as I could, and I hit the post. So, Laurie was about this big in the goal.
Laurie was a fantastic goalkeeper, wasn't he? If he'd have been 6'6", he'd have played for England, wouldn't he? As a goalkeeper, he was
And
technically
he was brave as well because
Yeah,
he had
brilliant.
his face kicked in by Andy Gray. And did I tell you the story about with his tonsils? When he every time there was the first test at Lords of the cricket season, he used to skip work and go down in someone's car, duck down when he went through Ipswich, and popped up again when he came out of Ipswich, went down to Lords, watched the cricket because he loves cricket, and then came back home and he was in. But he'd phoned up Bobby to say, I've got a croaky voice, I really got to go get my I think it's me tonsils. So this happened a couple of years, and then Bobby organised and told Laurie, by the way, you've got an operation next week in the hospital to remove your tonsils because you're missing too many games. So he had to have his tonsils out, and there's nothing wrong with them.
We're going to get him on the show. We've got to get him on the show one of these weeks.
Well,
haven't
it's a
we,
bit like Mick, really. You need a bit of a cushion and a bit of a.
Yeah,
I
a
thought
bit
you
of
got a
seat.
cushion out for him.
He
didn't
did.
you?
I did,
No, he
yeah.
actually had a booster seat for me, to be fair.
So
I thought his
Only
sweet.
Butch could get away with
I
that.
thought, I thought
you
his
know.
feet would be swinging on the floor.
No, come on.
I'm actually,
But he
it's
may
the
be,
only settee I can actually touch the floor. I'm actually quite.
he may be little, but he's got a very big heart. I tell
He
you,
has
that.
indeed, he
Very
has
big
indeed.
Yeah,
heart.
we mentioned,
Wondered what
we
he was going to say there, but
We mentioned Bobby Robson, of course. You spanned the years, don't you? Because you started at Ipswich when Bobby Robson was manager.
yeah. I mean, I was lucky enough to make my debut playing alongside this fella, and then went right way through to 2000, and Wembley was the last involvement I had with the club. I unfortunately wasn't on the bench that day, but yeah, so spanned quite a long time, and saw a few different things and change in the game and everything else.
Because when you first came to the club, you know, and made your debut and everything else, we were on a bit of a downward trend, and then we got relegated, and then 4 years later, 6 years later, we get promotion,
Yeah,
and then a few years later, we get relegated,
yeah,
and then we get promotion again. So it was a bit of a up and down, wasn't it?
It was. Obviously, when Sir Bobby left, and you know that better than me, but there was quite a few top players who left straight away almost, didn't they, after that, which give an opportunity for myself and others coming in. But there was always opportunities at the club for young players, just probably a few more at that point because a few top players had left. But yeah, it was tough at the first bit. We weren't going great in what would have been the old First Division, which is Premiership now. But I enjoyed it. It was tough. I wasn't Bobby Ferguson's favourite when I got in the team.
Not many were.
Well,
Was that 'cause you were a Southerner?
That was
I
quite.
didn't like the
I mean,
Southerners.
I have to be honest. It wasn't really until John Lyle joined the club that I actually felt like, somebody really believed in me and appreciated me, and I think my game went up a few levels after that. And
We should all appreciate John Lyle a whole lot more than he doesn't get the same kind of level of acknowledgement as a great town manager, and he was when he was here, wasn't he?
I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to play under Sir Bobby, but I imagine the respect that he had from the players, the fact that people were prepared to run through brick walls for him. He made people believe in themselves, and for me, he was a brilliant manager. And we were at a low point. John Duncan had just got the sack from the club, and we were like bottom half of the championship as it was then. John came in, totally changed everything we did, how we looked at the game. 1 year of his coaching, and we won the what would be the championship now to go into the first Premier League. And at that time, that was when Blackburn had just started to get all the money from Jack Walker, bringing in all the players, and we actually beat them quite easily and comfortably to the title. So, and we had a good side at the time. It was a team that could score goals. It reminds me a little bit of where we are at the moment, a team that could score goals, going into a higher level, used to winning games, full of confidence, looking around the dressing room, believing in people, and I think that's where the lads are now. Even though they've gone up a level, they still believe in what they're doing and full of confidence, believe they're going to win, and you can see it on the pitch.
I mean, that is so important, isn't it? That team spirit and working together, and we see that. I mentioned it last week. We see it so much now. Saw it in your era. We saw it in George's time when he took us up in 2000 as well. When you have that working together like that and the team are bonded, I mean, that's when the magic happens, isn't it?
Yep, it is. I mean, you have to have self-belief. You can't go out onto that pitch without having total belief in yourself. If you have self-doubts, you'll get found out. So that little bit of arrogance when you go out on the pitch is needed. You don't have to be arrogant when you come off the pitch, but you do have to have some when you're on it. And if you've got good players around you, and like you say, you're moulded and you're going into training, you're enjoying training, training's interesting, which I believe, the players love what Kieran does, and it's got, I think there's like spider cams and all sort of things going on now. A bit like in your day, Butch, when that spider cams watching your train and stuff like that.
Well, only spiders watch that train, I tell you. There's no cams anywhere.
Only spiders in the dressing room back then.
No, but what did you see yourself when you were young? Did you see yourself as a right back, a central midfield player, or a right midfield player? When you played in every position for Town apart from the goalkeeper. So, what was your favourite position?
I suppose, realistically, like that year in the Premier League, I had the best season at the highest level playing fullback. But I enjoyed playing midfield. I had a few games as striker. I scored 2 against Wimbledon in the Premier League and played fullback the next week.
And you scored 2 against Leicester, didn't you, as well?
I scored 2 at Leicester, yeah. And it was nice in a way because John had that confidence in me, and that's what I was saying, that he would do that. And then, someone who was obviously injured, because he wouldn't play me striker unless someone was injured, would get fit, and then I'd go play somewhere else. He even started me at centre-half at Leeds.
I was just going to ask that. I mean, how tall are you?
Not that tall, 5'6". 5'6", yeah. We had a master plan. I mean, we did play some crazy schemes at times in the Premier League, especially away from home, to try and mess the opposition up. And we started at Ellen Road against Leeds, who were the old champions, First Division champions, when they went into when the Premier League started. And for some reason, and I'm still trying to work it out 30 years later, but John played me at centre-half and tried to mark Gary McAllister man for man with Eddie Elds. Well, I had a broken nose like that with big Brian Dean was a centre forward. It was a big lump, about 1.5 foot taller than me, which isn't tough, but... we soon changed around. I think we lost 1-0 that day, but, we did come up. We went to Man United, drew 1-1, 0-0. I mean, at one point, Fergie had steam coming out of his ears, going bright red, because we were the most boring 0-0 draw. But we got a 0-0 at Man United when they were flying, and we didn't train all week doing it. John would trust the players on a flip chart in the team meeting with tea and toast or whatever it was in the hotel, and we went out and did it, and great times, lovely.
You haven't mentioned the greatest goal in Premier League history, have you? On my 23rd birthday, I looked it up actually. Monday Night Football live on Sky at Wimbledon.
All right, Wimbledon. Yeah.
A few fans have flagged this up actually and posted it up on our Twitter feed.
Yeah, no, it was a nice one. Not often you can say you scored a goal from starting in your own half. To be fair, I had no idea where I was going. It just ended up...
That's what I thought as well.
Just ended up in that place. Do you know, but Hans Sagers actually went to court for that, didn't they? Because him and Bruce Godbiller were up on a charge for deliberately letting in goals. I think
found not guilty.
I didn't think he stood a chance with it, to be fair. But
I actually watched it as well. I got on YouTube. Because I was a bit influenced by the word Maradona, and I'm thinking, did he punch it in or something like that?
That's about the only thing I'd ever get close to Maradona.
Yeah, but it was scintillating, wasn't it? It was unbelievable. I mean, that's sometimes it's just spontaneous. A door or a gap opens and boom, you're in there, and you got into the box. They couldn't touch you when you were in the box.
No,
it was a great finish as well for a right back. It was brilliant.
And in fairness, as a player, I was quite a deep thinker about how I tried to structure my game and go about things and try to get the best out of myself. But sometimes you just, natural, whatever, in the spur of the moment and whatever you're running and you're doing, and you beat one person and somebody else comes in and then just your natural instincts take over. And then in that situation, that was totally that. So
let's bring Russ back in again. Russ, would you have liked to have partnered in central defence with the 5'6" Mick Stockwell?
No.
To be fair, even Walker, he used to get so angry because my game was about, energy and getting up the pitch and crosses, and Walker would always be going, "Yeah, get back." Yeah. So
you sure that's what he was saying?
Yeah, well, in Scottish you couldn't understand him. That was my excuse because I kept going. So,
sorry, Russ, do you want to come in there?
Yeah, do you defend your back post well, Mick, as well? You know, using all that height to clear those crossfield passes that come looping over there?
Well, in those days, there wasn't television cameras everywhere, Russ, was there? So I was able to stand on the big fella's foot or just hold him for a little while. Because obviously the referee would always be watching when the guy who was delivering the ball was about to kick it. So you had a little opportunity just to try and upset him. I wasn't going to win the ball, but as long as he didn't get a great header, then I was happy. Whereas now, that's a bit harder, isn't it? Because they got cameras everywhere.
Yeah, I think you learned that from us, to be honest, because we all tried that as well.
Yeah, well,
it worked a treat, didn't it?
Yeah. You got to put somebody off. You have to put them off.
Stand on the toe.
Just enough. You don't want to do it long enough so that you're going to give a penalty away or anything like. I mean, I can't believe the amount of grappling that goes on in the box from a corner now. We wouldn't have got away with that, I don't think.
We wouldn't have done it.
We wouldn't have done it, no.
Bobby Ferguson used to say, if you do that, Butcher, I'll break your arm.
And he would.
He would,
Why do they allow it?
I don't...
Why does the referee go in there at every corner and say, listen, lads, don't do this, don't do that, don't do whatever. Let them take the corner, and as soon as he sees an infringement, blow the whistle for the infringement, and it's either a penalty or a free kick for the defensive side team.
Well,
End of story.
I think they do blow the whistle for if it's an offensive foul. They're quite happy to blow the whistle if it's an offensive foul. They just don't want to give a penalty, do they? Yeah, that's they've got a tough job, haven't they? I was never the biggest fan of referees. I don't think.
I think in the room there is a qualified young referee somewhere who's just hiding. We might get a word with him a bit later on, so just be careful. There is a ref in the room, boys.
Yeah,
that won't alter anything, Mark. Don't be silly. That's ridiculous.
I mean, I'll probably get in trouble, but with VAR, you still got the same guys looking at it, haven't you? So, I just think there needs to be more of an understanding of football from the referees. I mean, the fallout rate in academies from young lads who are trying to make it but don't. If there was an academy for them to go into after football where they could play a bit of semi-pro football, referee a game the next week with the knowledge of from 8 years old to 16, 18 or whatever they've gathered, there must be a place to try and to raise the bar of football knowledge. I mean, in the referees, that's just for me.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. Really good idea. You were known for bombing up and down. Your energy levels absolutely huge. I mean, is that natural ability?
Well, I suppose so. I never in pre-season or any of the other, I never really enjoyed running. Put a ball down, a bit like a dog, I chase a ball anywhere. But no.
Well, we'll find out with the Keep It Up challenge later, actually.
that is scaring me more than anything, playing in front of however many people.
Our capacity crowd!
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't kicked the ball for years, so keeping it up. Phil Ham could
You're not telling me that he could be higher on the leaderboard than you, Mick?
He could be higher on the leaderboard.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to
I've
it.
noticed that George got a nab, didn't have to do it.
He got a pass,
He
yeah.
got a pass, that's
Yeah.
a bit poor
Yeah.
form.
And Cole Skew's got a pass. If you'd have come in with a fake plaster on your leg, then you might have got a pass.
Are you
but-
trying to say Cole Skew's had a fake plaster on his?
No, not at all. No. But certainly, that you were known very much for that energy bombing up and down the field, which was great to see. Great to see you on the ball, and that was a real key part of your game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and when I've stopped working at the academy now, but when I was talking to you, I think you have to work on your strengths. People talk about working on your weaknesses, but if your strengths running, time your runs better, know when and where to run, and what at the end of it, just waste of time running 60 yards at a sprint if you can't chip the ball into the right area or pick out the right pass at the end of it, isn't it? So just becoming better at the good things you do gives you more chance of getting a contract and working on your weaknesses, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, someone asked Connor Chaplin on our first show. When he chips the ball into the goal, is that natural ability? He said, "No, I work at it. I work at it all the while. I work at it."
Good players work at that. David Beckham was a great crosser, great striker of a free kick. he hit hundreds of crosses in training and hundreds of free kicks. It's no this guy was a fantastic header. I hate to think how many brain cells that guy's damaged in his training career heading it.
We'll soon find out. We'll soon find out. Nick, I'll tell you. Give me another 5 years and ask that question again.
Oh dear. Right, I'll tell you what. Actually, because we've kind of reached a moment, really, I think here, where it's probably you want to relax and enjoy the rest of the evening, don't you?
Well,
I'm
okay at the moment. I'm relaxed.
Are you sure? No, I think it's probably time for the what is it? The Keep It Up Challenge.
Oh dear, this could be scary.
Right, it is the Keep It Up Challenge. So Mick, we've got a ball here. Okay, just move my beer out of the way, purely to keep my vocal cords going. So this is the latest Umbro ball bought by my own fair hand at Ipswich Town. It's even still got the sticker on, I think. Yeah, 25 quid that. Okay, so there is our Keep It Up Challenge area over there. Would you like to go into the performance area? Give them a round of applause, everybody. Give them some encouragement. So, unfortunately, we forgot to mention to Mick that he had to do this tonight. So, he's a bit rusty. So we've got our Keep It Up Challenge leaderboard. Phil, can you run us through that leaderboard? Can you see it from where you are, Phil?
I can. Luke, well, the bottom of the table, I can't quite read who
Phil
that
Ham.
is on 6.
6.
And then Connor Chaplin on 52, and Luke Chambers currently topping the table on 59.
Yeah. So how it works... 6 is a way away.
To be fair, I tripped over the ball to get that 6.
So you've got 60 seconds, Mick. We're gonna say, once we start, and it's how many you do in that first bit, and then so play to the whistle. Okay. Butcher's got the timer. Are we ready, everybody? Yay! And you're going to count for us as well, aren't you, capacity crowd? Butcher, you ready with the 60-second timer?
Yes.
Okay, Phil.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Hey! Well done. 11 puts you into a very respectable 3rd place on the leaderboard, Mick.
Out of 4.
I like the fact someone's actually running stats on this, aren't they?
They are, yes. Ipswich Town data, wasn't it? Sent us a tweet. Have you got that?
Somewhere, yeah. And it's notable that I had no touches on my right foot, which is no surprise to anybody who's ever seen me play football.
Someone has actually taken time to analyse, slow-mo, and analyse how many knees, feet, elbows, wall gets a mention as well, I think, doesn't it, Phil, somewhere?
Yeah, I've just found it. It's ITFC at ITFC data. Yes, football is now all about the data. So I've done you a little Keep It Up Challenge breakdown. Phil Ham leading the way on thigh touches. Can I naturally go on thigh touches?
Oh, it's nothing to be proud of.
I was going to say
you can get arrested for that.
And knee touches and use of the wall. So yes,
use of the wall gets a mention.
But losing out on all other fronts. So there you go. So yes, you want to see that at ITFC data on Twitter.
Look for that on Twitter, and you can see how the stats compare on that.
Well,
how was that?
Well, that was quite stressful, I have to say.
You can relax now.
Yeah, at least I beat Phil.
You did. That's great.
Because there was a couple of lads who have already copped out, wasn't there?
There was.
This is true. We should put them on the bottom,
zero. Next to Cole and George, really.
I think a big 0 next to Cole and George.
I think you're right, yeah.
You're only trying to push yourself up the table.
In that way, I'll only be 3rd from bottom at the end of the season.
Did not run, did not take part. No, that's all right.
Phil, you've got some Ipswich Town news in brief for us, because now the season is kind of underway. We're going to have a little news in brief. So what are the stories you've picked out for us this week?
Well, the obvious one is top of the league.
Yeah.
First.
Top of the song.
We are top of the league, say we are top of the league. We are top of the league, say we are top of the league.
Thank you.
And that's the first time top of the championship since Boxing Day 2014, when we won away at Brentford, didn't we?
I do remember
in a
that,
lunchtime kickoff.
4 goals we scored.
4-2, I think it was. Yes, I think Daryl Murphy got a couple, didn't he? And I think we actually were only top for a matter of hours that day, but I can't think everyone did start to dream at that point that season. Kyle Edwards on his way. I think we all kind of realised that when he wasn't in the 20-man squad. 20-man squads these days. 20-man squad for the Bristol Rovers match. And then Kieran McKenna later in the week kind of confirmed, he had a word with Kyle Edwards and said, well, he wants to play more regularly, and I don't think he's going to play regularly here. What do we think? What do we think of that? I think it's perhaps inevitable that he was going to move on.
Yeah, if you're not going to get regular games and you're not, just coming off the bench and so forth, then you've, at that age as well, and for his career, I think it's best to go out on loan. I'm sure there are plenty of clubs who like to take him.
Mickey?
Yeah, and to be fair, I think come towards the end of the transfer window, they will try and bring in one or two if the right people become available on the right money that the club can afford. So, yeah, I mean, the best. You've only got a limited time, so you want to be playing if you can, don't you?
Definitely. And on a similar note, really, Kieran said that Cameron Humphreys is a bit of a dilemma there at the moment, whether to keep him around the squad, because obviously he's a talented midfield player, and also he doesn't count towards the 25-man EFL squad because of his age. But then do you send him out on loan to get games? Because I think he'll be a better player for playing regular games. So I think where do you chaps sit on that?
I think they like Cameron a lot, and I think he'll get his opportunities during the season. So I think they'll keep him here.
I think possibly keep him here up until January, and then maybe if he's not getting any game time, that's the time to move him on. For that 6 months.
And Elkan Baggott is in a not dissimilar position, I would say.
Yeah, I think exactly the same.
Yeah. What do you think as a centre half? What's your thoughts on Elkan Baggott?
No, I liked him. I was there with when he was in the under-18s. Sweet left foot, good range of pass. Very similar to myself in terms of being very slow, but apart from that, he's got the lot really. He's competitive. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's a good lad, and you want him at your club because he's got about 1 million fans out in Indonesia on Twitter, I think, or something like that.
And he's a good character as well, isn't he? I think
he's a lovely character. Yeah,
Russell, what's your thoughts on Elkan Baggott?
I like him. I like the size of him. I think he's got good stature there. Obviously, if Terry's had anything to do with his upbringing in his earlier years, then he will be of sound character on the pitch. It just needs to be around the club long enough to be able to make the most of an opportunity when it comes his way. And it's a little bit the same for Cameron Humphreys. Lovely player, and I think if Massimo gets a couple of injuries along the way this season, I think Cam's still a great player just to be able to slide in there alongside Morsey. He knows what's expected of him now in the first team. He's had a little bit of experience in there, so he's been able to get used to things really in the way that Kieran McKenna likes to play. So I think both of them have got a big future at the club, and I think they should be allowed to develop at the club.
Yeah, some good points. Yeah, Phil, what else have you got for us?
Well, a record was equalled last weekend. 20 matches unbeaten in all competitions, Town currently, equalling a run or matching a run of 1980-81, which Russell and Terry were part of. But you're disputing this, aren't you, Terry?
Yeah, very much so. It's at the end of one season and the start of another. And it's in the 3rd division, stroke 2nd division, whereas ours was at the top flight. So there's no way. There's no way it's better than us.
No way.
I don't care if they get 30. There's no way better than us.
No, I think most people would agree. I think St Etienne at home was was the first one in that run. So there's obviously some.
I think I can hear Russell agreeing with Terry. Yeah. So Phil, I would back down if
rather
I was you, and
tough.
There are those two.
And on a similar note, closing in on the 1979-80 23 match league unbeaten run, having got to 21. But as we've established,
I think you have to just say, I mean, it's fantastic to do it at the highest level like these guys did, but the run that the lads is on is fantastic, isn't it? And I'm for one hope it goes on for another 40 games because while it does, it's fantastic for everyone around, isn't it?
Yeah,
but there's no reason why they can't do it. To be honest, I mean, look at who they've got coming up.
QPR coming up.
The way that they're playing and the way that the mood is in the camp and the confidence of the players. I mean, my God, it must be really sky high.
QPR,
easy.
Okay,
3-1.
I'm not going to say easy because I don't think there's going to be any easy games in this league. But the thing that's really impressed me is last year we were having 60-70% possession, controlling games, creating lots of chances. This year we're not going to have that. We're not going to have 60-70% possession, but we're still creating lots of chances. We're looking more dangerous up front and looking like scoring more goals from different areas than the teams that we've played so far. And for me, if you can score goals and create chances, then you're always in games. So, yeah, I think we've got a great chance of doing well this year. Just got to keep going, game by game.
Russ, QPR next?
I can't see us having a problem with QPR. I just think the vein of form we're in at the moment, the lads just can't wait for the next game to come along. And I totally agree with Mickey. At the end of the day, if you're creating goal-scoring opportunities and you know that you've got people that can convert those opportunities into goals, then you go out and you're not worried about the game. You're not worried about the results. You're not worried if you go a goal behind. You always think that, we're going to get our chances in front of goal and we're going to take them. And I think at the moment they really do have that sort of belief in the side that, they can win any game. They've got to play well. They've got to keep that belief, but they can do it.
Yeah, I think QPR, I think their fans went into the season rather concerned that because they lost one of their pre-season friendlies 5-0 to Oxford, and then the opening day of the season they lost 4-0 at Watford. But then I think Gareth Ainge just switched his system last week, didn't he? And they won 2-1 at Cardiff, so they may have found something that works. But I just can't see us going there and not winning, to be honest. I just think as we say, the momentum is so, and the belief within the squad is so strong. I think we'll be too strong for them. I think they probably will be one of the teams that end up going down this season. Okay, well, we'll see at the weekend, of course. Let's bring in some of our capacity crowd now, because if you're at the ground on Saturday, there's somebody else with a good record at the moment, actually. There's someone else with a 100% Ipswich Town record. Have you not mentioned that? No? No, you're all looking at me very blankly, aren't you? Well, the new stadium announcer who's been around.
Thank you.
I thought it might be this.
For the last 2 games, 100% record. 6 points. Well, a cup game, okay, and then 3 points. But, 100% record for me.
All right, so you think this is all down to you? Yeah.
Well, I'd like to think I whipped the crowd into a bit of a frenzy, didn't I?
Small sample package, isn't it?
Yeah.
You do like Mark, apparently. Apparently you do like a good whipping.
I do, apparently, yes. So let's not go there. I want to bring in Richard Chandler now, because Richard was a guest at the game on Saturday, and he walked 18 miles to the match on Saturday. He's stepping up to the microphone. Just come a little bit closer to that microphone.
Gingerly
Richard.
Stepping up to the microphone.
Yeah. Just tell everybody why you walked to the game on Saturday.
My sister passed away at the end of June, and we were massive Ipswich fans, season ticket holders for a lot of years. Back in Terry and Russell's day, then Mickey. So, seen a lot of tough times over the last 15 years, obviously. And she'd raised money for the foundation before. I wanted to take that on, so I walked from my home in Colchester to the game on Saturday. And at the moment, it's just under £900 that I've raised.
Amazing. Fantastic. And I interviewed you on the pitch on Saturday, and I watched you walk away, and you kind of, I know it's that blue carpet, which is not easy to walk on around the pitch now, but you waddled off. How are you now?
That was all about protecting the pitch, obviously. I'm loads better now. On Sunday, it was a different story. I got up Sunday morning, and it wasn't a pleasant feeling. I realised that I'm not 20 years old anymore, and I'm 50-odd, and maybe that wasn't the sensible thing to do without any training, but it is what it is. I won't be doing it again, that's for certain.
Tell you what I'm going to do for you. I'll top it up to £1,000.
Thank you.
Hey, well done, Mark.
Well done.
Thank you very much. That
Well done.
means a lot.
And what did you make of the game?
I think it's fantastic. What I really struck me is that we're fitter than them. Both games we've been fitter than established championship teams, and we were the fittest teams in League One. And McKenna said, "Yeah, it's going to be harder. All the pre-season was a harder pre-season. They're fitter than they've ever been. It's ridiculous."
Yeah.
I said before the season we'll come 5th. I think possibly 2nd or 3rd.
Thank you. I think that's where we're going to be, 2nd. Yes, lots of nods. A few nods, anyway.
I think we've always been, as a club, we've always been fit. I mean, the pre-seasons we did were pretty brutal. And I think all the players, Connor Chaplin sat there and said how hard it was. And I think that it sets your mind out to be tough. If you've got a hard pre-season, if you're running hard and you're doing all the stomachs and press-ups and all the things that they do, you know, you're thinking, wow, this is difficult. But it actually conditions your mind as well as your body to make you feel that, you know, we can overcome anything and we can go faster than anybody else. And I always fancy Town now in the latter 15 minutes of the game to go and score, you know, a couple of goals because they have that strength within them. Where teams are getting tired, Town look very fresh. I mean, that's a real ace in the pack, that is, for Kieran McKenna and the team.
Who was it who got a lift back from running one day on the back of a milk float? Who was that?
It was a beat, wasn't it?
Quite possibly.
It's a Ted Phillips story, I think, like that as well. Isn't there?
There's one or two stories around.
I'm sure Beat has done that as well. Because he wasn't a good runner, Beat. He was a fast runner, but he wasn't a good. He wasn't very very.
What were
good.
your pre-seasons like, Mick?
Tough, but we didn't have the scientific data like they have.
We didn't have anything.
We
Mick.
didn't have any data, no. So basically, you would run until you were nearly ill, and then they thought that was enough. And whereas now it's much more scientific how things are done. Pre-season was one of those things that you had to get through, wasn't it? It was.
It was scientific because they used to say, run to that tree, run round it and come back to that tree, then run round it and go to the next tree. I don't know what they would have done if there was no trees in the park.
But you were pretty good at the cross-country runs, I imagine, weren't you?
I never enjoyed it, but I would stick in there. I would stick in and go, but I was never at the front. I mean, someone like Chris Kawami made it look easy. You know, he had no weight, no baggage, and he could run around and make it look dead easy.
Kieran Dyer was good at that, wasn't he? And
Kieran,
Jamie Clapham,
exactly
I think.
the same. Kieran was one of the, he could run for all day, couldn't he?
What about you, Russ? Can you remember those days?
I can remember Russ. I beat Russ.
I remember the pre-seasons very well, but during the season was hard for us as well, Mark. You know, if we didn't have a midweek game, our normal week was very, very tough. You know, we'd do half laps, doggies, lapping, increase, decrease, cross-country runs. So if we had a game on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, that was a blessing for us. It was a lot easier for us to go Saturday, Tuesday, and keep playing 2 games a week. If we got a free week, we knew they were going to run the legs off us. And in those days, yes, we could play a bit and we could pass the ball well to each other. And we had a good team of talented players, but we were fit as well. So we could compete with people on the fitness level, with the strength level, as well as the technical stuff, which you had to do. We had to be able to compete on all levels. And the pitches in those days were diabolical. So you had to have some good miles in your legs all the time, and it was tough.
I think a big difference as well was we didn't have big squads. You know, Russell would have played a full season where he played every game. I played seasons where you played every game of the season. Butch would have been the same. You just didn't have big squad where you could go, it's Carabao Cup or League Cup, we're going to change everyone.
No, we didn't want to be changed, did we?
No, we wanted to play, because we got more money when we played, didn't we, the way the contracts were.
A little bit of money, yeah. But when you first came to the club, you were 6'4", but you ran so much, and now 5'6".
We've got some more questions from the crowd. Dan's here. Come on, Dan.
Now, Dan,
are we going to tell everybody who you really are?
If you want to.
Dan is our original tractor boy from Life's a Pitch on BBC Radio Suffolk.
Thank you.
Dan's the man.
And Dan I think you were about 6 when you first started reporting for us?
Yeah, I was. I think I was, about 6 or 7. We were swapping 2006 World Cup stickers, weren't we?
That's how it all began. Yes,
that's what it was.
Over the fence, yes.
I haven't done a charity walk, though, sadly. I feel like a bit of a come down after that.
No, you're fine. Don't worry. It means I haven't got to fork out any more money.
Yeah, do I get 100 quid as well?
No, you don't. No. Don't speak. You're going to get that every week. What do you want to say to Mick?
I just wanted to ask, obviously this Town team is very successful, but I wondered from your era, what one player do you think would improve this current team the most?
Oh,
good question.
Crikey.
Take your time.
Yeah, no, I'm
Well, it's quite a big era he played, isn't it? It's
yeah,
a lot of players.
Oh, I played a long time. I mean, Butch would definitely improve the team, wouldn't he? England captain, Russell. I mean, I was lucky enough to be around, 3 or 4 different sides, Ipswich different sides, that went through quite a big time from 1985 right the way to 2000. So I don't want to say, he would do it, but I think all I can say is that I really enjoy watching the team what's playing at the moment. They're brave, exciting. The football is productive, even though we say they're passing out from the back. It's not that they're just passing for passing's sake. They're looking to draw people in. They're looking to break lines, get balls into the 2 10s we play in Chaplin and Broadhead, and we've got a lad up front who just is getting better. He works hard. He's strong. I mean, I think the style of young players that they brought in bodes well for the future. I think there is room for 1 or 2 new players to come in, but there's a lot of players that I played with at a high level, so I'm not going to say 9 or 10 players that could come in.
I think the real gist of what you're trying to say is that we had very good teams.
Yeah,
and there was no sort of superstar in the team. It's just very, very good teams.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody worked well together.
Yeah, there was, but you got some special players. I mean, Chris Kawamia up front with his pace and goal scoring. You had Jason Dezal, who was classy on the ball. I'd like to think that I might improve the side if I was still young enough to play.
Yeah, would you fancy playing right back in this team?
The side, but. I just think the team's in a fantastic position. I love going down to the ground and working on match days to see the team play. So it's a fantastic.
Okay, let's do some questions from our socials because we're running really, really tight on time now. This is brilliant, and we've got a picture actually for this. Paul has been in touch, and he asks, "Do you remember the time that you opened the bottle bank at the Golden Key pub in Ipswich? Can you remember doing that? I mean, you obviously do a lot of player appearances. And if you can't remember, just look at the screen behind you. And there you are at the opening.
Which one is he?
That is one heck of a tracksuit. If you want to buy that tracksuit now, because Paul has tried to get that tracksuit, and that's him in the picture, the smaller one. That tracksuit now would cost you about 300 quid. So a lot of the old
fell apart after 2 weeks.
Can you remember? Was that one of the highlights? Opening up a bottle bank?
Yeah, I remember that day almost. No, yeah, it's great to see things like that, isn't it? Almost look a young lad there, don't I? It's
Bless.
Fantastic.
Well, Paul sends his best.
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
Yeah, they enjoyed that moment. Shuey's been in touch. Can I ask you why, when I got you round to do a quote for tiling in my bathroom, you never got back to him?
Probably looked a tough job, I reckon.
Another one here from Stevie B. Does Mickey remember when I came to service his Ford Sierra as a mobile mechanic?
Yes.
My dog Lennox went for him when Mick put his hand through the van window.
Yes, I can. I thought it was a nice-looking dog, but soon changed my mind. I think he went on and did some refereeing, didn't he?
He says, "Can I also say
I
was." Can I also say I was a massive fan of Mickey. Every football club needs a 110% reliable, loyal player up, and that was Mick. I remember him going up front and scoring against Wimbledon. Yeah. So a lot of people remembering that. Ben Beefy Martin's been in touch. Who's the best player that you've played against and the best player that you've played with?
I know Butcher's sitting next to me, but I'm going to...
Don't say me, for goodness
sake.
With the exception of Terry Butcher and Russell Osman over there, of course.
I'm going to go with Walkie. I spent a long time playing with John Walk. Walkie was just... Without knowing or being able to tell you how he did it, he was always in the right place. Just read the game and playing centre-half in the Premier League at 105, he still managed to be in the right place at the right time, even if he was screaming at me for running off and leaving him alone. But Walkie would definitely be the best player I played. Giggs and John Barnes, I would say. Ryan Giggs and John Barnes were the best two I played against.
Okay. Rattle through. Farmer Piles gets in touch. One time as a player, you lived opposite my elderly parents in Warren Heath and saw them waiting at the bus stop. You pulled over and gave them a lift into town. Mum never forgot that. Simple, kind gesture for the rest of her years, and neither have I. A great player and a proper gentleman.
You didn't mention how much I charged her, did you?
He goes on to say, did you ever fancy keeping the striker's role that John Lyle gave you temporarily at one point? You scored goals, and I was gutted when he put you back in midfield or defence when our forwards got fit. Thank you, Stumper, he says.
Yeah.
Yes, Stumper.
Stumper, yeah.
Where's this story come from?
Well, when I joined at 16, I was half-decent cricketer, and we had a charity match at Copdock, and I've been batting for a little while, and we were down to the last wicket, and we were close to winning the game, and Sir Bobby came in and hit a few nice shots, and the script went that he should hit the winning run, being the legend that he was, but I danced down the wicket and got stumped before he could do it, and we were all out. And I think Eric Gates was standing there watching, laughing, and the nickname Stumper came out of it. So, and it stuck. It stuck for a long time, to be fair.
There's the other story about the cricket game that they played at Portman Road, played Essex at Portman Road pre-season. So Bobby Robson normally used to field in at first slip. He didn't much movement. He just went end to end. But he decided to field out on the square leg boundary. So it might have been Graham Gooch or one of the Essex players came in, and he hits the ball to square leg, and it's going over to be a 6, and it's right in front of the dugouts, and Bobby comes round and labours round and goes up and catches the ball and dives into the dugout. And he knocks himself out. I think Clive Woods was one of the fielders, so Clive comes along and went, "He's out," and he left him in the dugout. He left him unconscious in the dugout.
Can you remember that, Russ?
Sure do. Yeah, good days. Yeah, Graham Gooch knocking the ball into the middle of the town centre from the pitch on Portman Road. Good squad of lads, the Essex boys had then. Ray East, obviously, and John Lever, Fletcher. Yeah, good times.
Happy
and
days.
Mickey was a bit sharp off the short run, Mick, as well, weren't you?
I used to be, yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
for somebody at 5'6", I wasn't too shoddy at getting it through now and again, but at the highest level, they used to love it. They used to skid onto them and they smash me all over the place. But
I'm fiddling with my phone, which can mean only one thing. We've had the scores come through from Man v Fat. These are the chaps who are playing football to lose weight, okay? And so they play football, and if they lose weight...
Do they want a sub?
Well, Mick, you and I both could probably go there,
Yeah.
bless you.
That's a back two there.
Oh, sorry, back four.
This is coming from Mark's story. And he says, I've sent you some of the scores from Colchester for a change. And then we've got our usual ones. So Aston Griller, 13. Bayern Munchies, 24. Gimme My Dodgers, 9. Sorry, no, Jim My Dodgers. As in Jammy Dodgers, Jim My Dodgers, Jammy Dodgers. Okay, it doesn't really work.
Move on, yeah. Go on.
Anyway, 9. Old and Pathetic, 8. I love this. Borussia Moobs and Backfat, 19. Borussia Donuts, 5. Team name of the week is Rotunderland, who play at the Stadium of Bite. And player of the week is Luke Wolfitdown.
Love it.
These are the scores from our usual league. Man Titty 6, LA Galaxy Bar 10, Toulouse a few pounds 9, Seattle Quarter Pounders 11, and Pork Vale 3, Far From Athletic 5. Well done, the Man Fee Fat scorers.
Mark, I think Man City better get a grip of themselves.
They do, yes,
Yay.
yes they do. Phil, we've got a present.
We have a present, yes. I have to unfurl this on my own. From the...
Get Ted Lasso to hold it for you.
No, he's not going to do that. This is from the American supporters and Eric PZ. He saw the show the other week and said, "You've got a few scarves around there. but none from the. I'm trying to work North American Supporters Club. That's the NASC as opposed to the NASL. And yes, he sent us a scarf which we will drape around the room presently.
Fantastic.
PZ's used to live out in East Suffolk, where me and Terry lived. Someone who was.
We've got some of our North American supporters coming over in the next few weeks because they're coming for games. They're going to come to the show. Where's our Spanish supporter? Come on the microphone. Quickly. You watch the show in Spain?
Yep, I watch the show on YouTube every week. So I've seen the last 4 already. And I've encouraged my nephews who are Spanish, who are big Atletico Madrid fans, who now have Ipswich shirts and text me every weekend, what's the score, what's happening, and watching all the time.
Brilliant. That's how it grows, isn't it? That's how it grows. And Russ, a quick word about being in Australia at the moment, the Lionesses, before you go. What's been the atmosphere down in Australia? Poor Matildas, bless them, the Tillies.
Bless them. What a shame. The Lionesses were fantastic the other night. A little bit uncomfortable being the only English people in a pub full of Australians who were cheering the Matildas on.
But you
I
loved
think the
it.
Matildas they've done a fantastic job to get the girls interested in football again out here, and it has gone absolutely ballistic over the last few weeks. So been coverage all over the place, extremely well supported. But I think the Lionesses just showed that they are at a different level at the moment. They're very, very strong. They play some good football, and it's going to be a cracking final.
Yep, and we're going to win, aren't we? Yeah! Fantastic. That's it. We're out of time. I'm sorry. Actually, we're over time. Thank you very much. Mick Stockwell. Wasn't there a song earlier?
One Mickey Stockwell. One Mickey Stockwell.
You used to have to start it off myself before as well.
Next week, we'll be joined by former town chairman David Sheepshanks, who will have a story or two to tell with us next week.
The nice china and crockery out for him.
We will, yeah, we will. No bottles of beer for him next week, I don't think, anyway. To keep in touch with us, check out our socials, Lives to Pitch socials, Facebook, Insta and Twitter. On YouTube, make sure, please, that you subscribe. We need to subscribe, everybody, don't we? And smash the like button, please. Let's get to 5,000. Thanks again to our main sponsors, DPS Tech. We're also supported by Green King, all about hearing, Forward Floors, Come Hither Design, the Hudson Group, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and our new sponsors, Ginger Pickle as well. Thank you, Capacity Crowd. Thank you to you for watching, and we'll be back at the same time next week. Have a great week, and up the town, everybody.
Up the town.